Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of the podcast where we sit down with some of the sharpest minds in the management consulting industry. This episode is powered by Clubhouse AI. At Clubhouse AI, we help management consulting firms break free from outdated lead gen methods like networking events and referrals, which often feel more like wishful thinking than a real strategy. Our battle-tested, data-driven client acquisition system brings in your ideal clients with no chasing, no guesswork, just predictable compounding growth. If you're in management consulting and you're looking to scale your business and see results within the first week, DM us the word growth for a free consultation. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Today, we have a very special guest who is Dr. Jackie Henry, co-founder of H&S Wellness Consultants. Thank you so much for being here today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got started.
Thanks for having me, Ethan. I'm Dr. Jackie Henry. I'm a licensed psychologist and wellness consultant based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the Twin Cities area. I have been a licensed psychologist for over 10 years now, and at the early part of my career, worked in various settings doing clinical psychology, individual and group psychotherapy, and whether that was working with veterans or students or nonprofits or interdisciplinary teams in the healthcare setting. I have worked with a lot of different populations through my clinical career. And as I went through training and had a lot of those experiences, decided I wanted a little bit more autonomy over my time and um, client um, my client list. And so went into private practice for myself in 2018. And during that time, I built up my caseload and client book so that I was seeing upwards of 10 to 15 clients per week out of my St. Paul office, and then doing various consulting or speaking engagements on the side more informally. And then during the pandemic, I was approached by a former colleague and someone I considered a friend to help with a one-time workshop to support burnout and resilience training for those in the veterinary medicine industry. And so we went to a little small pet clinic and talked about how to take care of yourself during tough times, as we all went through during the COVID-19 pandemic, and how to deal with difficult client interactions. And we started doing that, got some good feedback, and then decided in 2023 to make a more formal leap into our own consulting firm, which is H&S Wellness Consultants. So since then, my partner, Dr. Heidi Strohmeyer, and I have really built up a good reputation in our area and done some things regionally and nationally as well that really focuses on helping support employee well-being in high-stress, mission-driven industries like veterinary medicine, nonprofit, the financial sector, things where people really give a lot of themselves and therefore need a lot in return to have a sustainable career.
Right. That's amazing. I'm so glad that we have people like you providing services like that in consulting for these businesses. Whenever you're saying that, the first thing that came to my mind was like the financial sector and these investment bankers that are working, 12-hour shifts. They're working, 40, maybe even 48 hours in a row. They're working these
Right.
long hours. It's very demanding. I'm sure they could get burned out, and plenty of other business owners, maybe solopreneurs as well, getting burnt out with this heavy workload that they're
Absolutely.
taking on. It's an amazing. May I ask you why do this? What's your motivation behind it?
Well, simply, I've been on the other side. I've been in a high stress, values driven industry to like healthcare and mental health, and really felt the pull of feeling a lot of meaning and purpose, but also really struggling to feel supported, to not sort of feel overwhelmed or burnt out myself, of wanting to have something left over for myself after giving to others during the day, during my professional life. So I really do understand it, not just from an intellectual or research base, but
Yeah.
also a personal level too.
Right. Yeah, it's something that happens to probably every person on this planet that they could all use some help with. It's something you can't really avoid, but it's good to learn how to overcome it and deal with it. It's amazing. What does a typical day look like for you at work? You go into the office, what goes on?
I do have an office for my private practice. It's right behind me here.
Yeah.
Very cozy. And I do go into the office a couple times a week. It's nice to have a separation from home. Although I do like working from home too, throw in a load of laundry and do all that sort of balancing work as well. But I do like going to a place where I feel I can really have some deeper focus in my
Yeah.
professional role. And obviously, the privacy is good for individual therapy patients. But a typical day, I try to bookend my Mondays and Fridays so that it's a lot more flex time where I can catch up from the weekend, get organized for the week, get ready for kind of close up shop for the work week and be fully present for my family on the weekend. Go grocery shopping, answer emails, all those kind of things. It's one of the reasons I really love being an entrepreneur is being in charge of my own time.
Hmm.
I like to do a lot of different things, and so being able to turn the volume up on one thing and turn it down somewhere else is a really nice perk of being in charge of myself and my business. And then midweek, I usually reserve Tuesdays for my clinical days where I'm seeing clients after I get the kids on the bus and going into my office and see about 6 or 7 patients, either in person or virtual. And then Wednesdays also, usually half days are reserved for that. And then for my consulting business, we do various workshops, webinars that are scheduled during the week, and I make myself available for those, as well as outreach and sort of making sure that I've got a handle on the things that are going on in the business and also how to grow the business as well. So we still have things to do during the week.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the freedom of your time there being an entrepreneur. I would say that may be even better than the financial freedoms of owning your own business and your own practice as well, because you get to control what you do in your day to day. I'd much rather be making, let's say $80,000 a year or something, but have control over my time, my schedule, and get to spend time with family and do what I want during the day. That's you can't put a
Yeah,
price on that. That's amazing. Now, in
I
terms of your
agree.
consulting business, are you targeting more of the person themselves, B2C, or are you targeting these businesses and going in and helping out all their employees and their management?
Mostly the latter. So we're saying this is not therapy. We can certainly provide those referrals if you need that, but really this is about the health of the organization and targeting the roles within the organization so that people can work together as teams or within their roles to have a more productive and well-functioning culture in their business. So we do sort of all staff webinars. I did one this morning on productivity and minimizing distractions to enhance focus. But then we also break out in terms of specific roles and work within sort of the nuance. For example, our veterinary clinics maybe will work only with the front desk people, will work only with the techs and assistants, and then only with the doctors. And we're sort of saying the same message, but coming at that from each of their different lenses so that they have the same vocabulary to speak to each other,
Yeah.
but we have the nuance of what their specific role requires. And same with leadership coaching as well. You know, there's different pressures, whether you're the CEO or an entry level person trying to, find your path forward. But hopefully people are aligned on the same mission and the company focus.
Right. I love it. Yeah, you're doing a whole workaround of everyone there. Had to have a whole unified team of everyone that can be working together and being productive, not burnt out as well. And I like that you're doing that
Right.
rather than just focusing on the receptionists or the front of the house, but you're focusing on the management as well as the people that do the in-person grunt work. I like that too. And in terms of your
Right.
business and growing it and scaling it, what's working well for you guys right now and what's kind of been frustrating for you?
Yeah, so I would say our limitation is really our time. We're both moms of young kids. We both have private practices in psychology. And eventually we would like to sort of flip the ratio of our income where, starting out this business, it was less of the consulting contributing to our income, more of the therapy practice. And
Yeah.
as I think about my own sustainability, I'd like to invert that ratio so that really our consulting business is the bulk of our income here. So it's sort of chicken or the egg. Do we, how do we do that? We have to take time away from our therapy practice or squeeze it in somewhere in order to grow it so that we can reduce our therapy practice, or we reduce our therapy practice so that we can grow it. So it kind of is a little bit of a tightrope
Yeah.
walk. But right now we're in a great, interesting phase. We just brought on our first intern, and she's been really helpful in our business development and marketing outreach and reaching new sectors of industry that we haven't had, frankly, the bandwidth time to focus on. So we've really put her in charge of building a contact list for assisted living and nonprofit works, which are both organizations which are both really struggling with burnout, compassion fatigue,
Yeah.
stress, doing really important work. So hopefully we can grow not only our team through an intern and maybe other trusted partners, other contractors and psychologists who would deliver our menu of services, but also grow in the industries that we're targeting as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure hiring that intern was a nice move for you guys. Rather than having all that stress and you and your partner's back, you can finally delegate and give some tasks to the intern. That's a big step for most entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
I'm happy
Yes.
for you there. Yeah, definitely getting into new verticals is important and be able to expand your business not in just one specific sector. Like, yes, you should start niche and specialize in something, but you guys are already doctors and have your own therapy practices, so you're already pretty specialized. Now you can go and share this with everyone that may need it. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
speaking of hiring interns and marketing and utilizing new tools, how is AI being this huge industry trend? How has that impacted your business and your growth strategy?
Yeah, I mean, and really it's been such a rapid rise too, right? I mean, for everybody, it's
Yeah.
come on. I think I became aware of it less than a year ago, and it's a huge part of our day-to-day productivity and tools that we utilize. We utilize ChatGPT and Gemini. Gemini is a little bit more of the privacy component that we're looking for some
Mhm.
more sensitive matters. But ChatGPT does a great job of giving us a framework, for example, for we had to prepare a lot of internal communications for our intern to come on board in terms of workflows or sample scripts for outreach. All of those kind of internal communication things that really help her get on board and get started as soon as possible. And it really has been a helpful tool for us because, as I said, our biggest barrier is our time. And I think when we can have those productivity tools, that saves us all of the admin sort of time.
Yeah.
Then we are free to really focus on the strategy and the delivery of our services. And so it gets us just more focused on the things that are actually going to generate business and growth for us.
Right.
I will say, like, after the first several months of like, this is absolutely amazing, there's limitations, and it definitely feels more like a 2D tool than a 3D tool. And really, that human element, I think, is important, especially in our business when a lot of our business is based on our relationship and the personalities that we bring to
Yeah.
delivery of service, not just the information, but how we are servicing that information as well. And so it certainly gets us a long way, but it is very important for us to infuse that structure or the framework that it provides us with a real human element.
Right. Yeah, and it's so important for most businesses to have that system in place where they can take the time of the daily admin tasks, whatever may be eating up their time and automate that. And AI has been amazing for a lot of businesses out there to do just that. And yeah, I'm curious, what other things have you tried in the past? You mentioned that you struggle with having not a lot of time between your practice and your consulting business. What else have you tried besides AI to fix that?
Not much. It kind of feels like, okay, I can't really let go of this. I mean, until I have something built up, right? But I think really it's been we're going to take a steady path of intentional action
Hmm.
versus this is going to be an overnight success, or I'm not really someone that says, all right, I'm quitting my job and that'll force me to get it going in 3 months versus 3 years.
Yeah.
I can't, I'm personality wise not really like that. And also, it wouldn't be very responsible with the life stage I'm at either. So, for us, it's just saying our vision is a steady trajectory of growth. And if that takes 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, well, we can still do that in a steady and intentional way. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm sure with your therapy practice that you have clients that rely on you. You can't just you can't ditch that right away, go straight to consulting. So I'm sure that plays a factor as well. And you had mentioned
Yeah.
that AI needs to have that personal element. And I couldn't agree more with you that AI works best when you have humans interacting with it at the same time. If
Right.
I've tried in the past using a um, fully automated outreach system that was just using AI, and it didn't have any personal
Mhm.
element. I wasn't going in and responding to the emails, responding to the messages, and AI was doing it for me. And I was looking at it saying, "Man, that's not what I would have said there. That doesn't sound right."
Yes.
But what it does do well is automating the initial outreach process and the nurturing so that you can have those opportunities and you can have that system in place, but you have to have the human element as well.
Totally.
I completely agree with you. And in terms of growing the consulting business and slowly putting more of your time towards that, what kind of metrics are you focusing on improving there to get to that place?
Yeah, I would say that at the same time that we're growing sort of our verticals of different industries,
Yeah.
we're also really honing in on what aspects of our services do we really enjoy. There was an early part of our consulting firm days where we felt like, okay, we're going to put a lot of effort into creating digital courses. And that's really time and labor intensive. And not a lot of people are interested in that. I think because people are very saturated in the market with digital offerings. And we do have a few. I think it's important as a part of our offering portfolio, the diversity of that. But really, what's been most enjoyable for us and most rewarding from an ROI perspective is working with companies who are interested in supporting their employee well-being or growing as a leader, growing as a team, and feeling like we can be a part of that growth, partnering with those people and
Mhm.
becoming almost like in-house, consultants, psychologists, support people.
Yeah.
And that really is something that we want to put more of our eggs in that basket. So really identifying at the same time what people resonate with, what we really resonate with, and what feels stimulating and growth giving, life giving to us as well. Um, and I think that that's been a wonderful part of this process where it's this symbiotic relationship. We hear feedback from people, we try something out, we decide what we like, we hear what they like, and then that really hones our messaging and what we're going to invest our time and resources in.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's amazing. I like that you're building those personal relationships with the businesses as well, and not just being cold and only business focused. I like that you're giving that personal touch as well. It's amazing. And taking all that into account, what's your goals for the next 6 to 12 months? Where are you guys looking to be in terms of growth?
Yeah, so we just this fall at the same time working with our intern, bringing on our first intern. We hope to continue that position in our company too,
Yeah.
and really sort of find our leadership ethos in that, or like we have to, the best way to sort of articulate your business and your value and your value proposition, I think your branding is to explain it to somebody else and get them on board. And so it's really challenged us to have an intern where we're not just speaking in an echo chamber anymore. We're really having to articulate to her, okay, this is what we're about. Does this make sense to you? Tell us if you can say that back and how do we think that sounds? And so really honing, like I said, not only our services, but our vision, our brand, our own company culture, and us as leaders, has been a real challenge and an exciting one, not just the delivery of services, but somebody who can mentor and cultivate growth in eventual employees too. So that's been exciting. We are hoping to build on our model of expanding our offerings by bringing on trusted partners, I mentioned before, other psychologists who would be 1099 contractors who might have a special area of expertise or interest. We just talked with someone who, as I mentioned, who really is passionate about working with elder care and assisted living. That's not something that I know much about. Someone else who really has spent a lot of time in coaching parents and working with parent and child organizations, school organizations, education. So feeling like, well, let's bring you on. You're the expert, and you can work within our brand, which will, orient you to in terms of how we like to approach things, grounded in science, practical tools, really values driven. And then you can do your thing and work that business. And
Yeah.
now you get to dip your toe into something other than therapy or maybe a traditional application of psychology. And we get the benefit of growing our business as well. So we're really hoping in the next year to two that that becomes a more defined role with more opportunities for people to see what consulting is like and what collaboration is
Yeah.
like. As you mentioned, a lot of psychologists in private practice, it's lonely. Solopreneurs,
Right.
it's lonely. And so it's not just an opportunity to try something different, but also the opportunity to collaborate. And we really love that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think some of the greatest companies and businesses and projects come from collaboration and people working together saying, hey, you do this best and I do this best. Let's work together and we can be even better than we were separately. I think that's an amazing idea and you should definitely pursue that. And if I may ask, what's in it for you personally? Why achieve this goal? What does that mean for you?
I am a builder of things, I think. I'm really focused on process. I really love strategy. I love collaboration and interesting conversations like this one. I really enjoy having a vision and sort of executing the day to day toward that vision. And I really, this started for me thinking in COVID, a time of reflection of, okay, is this what I want to do? Is what I want to do individual therapy. I do love that. It brings a lot of meaning and purpose and sitting with people in some of their most difficult times. And at the same time, it's a lot of emotional labor. And thinking about my own sustainability, if I wanted to scale, I just have to do one more client at a time, right? And I don't know if that's sustainable in terms of emotional labor for me. I've got four
Right.
daughters who are between, let me think, 6 and 13. And
Wow.
so you can imagine that there's quite a bit of emotional labor associated with that. And I really want to be present for that. And so if I wanted to scale my professional identity, I don't know that scaling my individual practice was going to be where it was a best fit for me. And so thinking in terms of how do I stay in my lane of interest and expertise, but also do that in a sustainable way so I can be there for my family too. That led me down the consulting path.
Right. Yeah, I
And
mean,
I hope that's what it turns out to be.
yeah, yeah. That'd be amazing, right? And I think that's what it stems from for most business owners and entrepreneurs. There's no one's really in it just for the money. There's always some other passion and motivation behind it. And I love that your family is yours. That's always going to come first, right? It's always going to be mother first, father first, grandparent first, whatever it may be. That's driving the success behind your business. I can't wait till I've got something of my own and I can say, you know what, this business can't fail because my kid needs to eat, or this needs to succeed because I want
Yeah.
to take the kids to Disney World. I think that's an amazing thing
Yep.
that's driving your business, and that's something to probably make you never stop going. And yeah, I definitely think it's important to have that balance between, okay, when is too much, when do I need to start delegating this work and giving responsibility to other people so I can spend more time with my family. I'm glad you
Right.
shared that. That's an amazing insight there. And we've covered almost everything I wanted to cover today. You've shared some amazing things. But before we go, I want to leave you with this. What's the biggest lesson you've learned along your journey as a therapist, as a consultant, as an entrepreneur, especially in a business owner, that's helped you become who you are today?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think it is about collaboration and leaning on conversations and the wealth of knowledge and expertise in the people around you and in your community, and asking questions, saying your vision out loud is very important to me. I want to, here's somebody I respect, or here's somebody that's in a position I want to be in. I'm going to ask them for a conversation and be really curious, and really say out loud what I want. And I think really the what has been my anchor and touch points is, what am I really clear about what's important to me, as you just mentioned, and how can I always tie it back to that? Family for sure, flexibility, autonomy, creativity, growth, collaboration. When I'm really clear on those values, I can find myself in any situation and reorient to those things and find the next right step. And so I guess just advice is, get really clear on those big picture things that you want. And they can be layered onto any situation as a roadmap to find yourself toward the next right thing.
Right. Yeah, you gotta have clear goals, right? It's good to get them out there. I myself, I have all my goals written on my mirror in the bathroom every day. So whenever I wake up, I can go and see those and make sure I know what I'm working towards
Yeah.
every day. And it's definitely important. I like these like collaborating as well. I think most
Yep.
people, if not a lot of people, think that, I need to figure this out on my own. I need to be the entrepreneur. Like I don't need help. I don't want help. But there's no shame in going to someone that's has more experience than you is can be a mentor to you and saying, look, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me how
Yeah.
to do this? I need help here. What did you do? Asking for all sort of
Yeah.
advice is so valuable for anybody, even doing podcasts like this. Every person that I have on the podcast, I learn something new from them, and I can apply it to my own business. I can
Yeah.
apply it to whatever I may do in my life. And it's so valuable to collaborate with people and having clear goals. Well, listen, Jackie, I
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time today and sharing everything you shared. We've never had someone in this space on the podcast before, and it's been delightful to have this new perspective. And again, I thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you so much for having me, Ethan.
Of course.